Crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which is a double tunnel card. I received an email from a lady called Joni who said she's seen a card like this, but there weren't any instructions for it, so she asked me if I could do them. So always happy for a challenge, and I have to say this really was quite a challenge, but I've done 5 now, so I feel that I've got it down to fine art now. The other lady, she had made hers using the Santa Workshop Designer Series paper, stamp set and or dies. I don't really know exactly what she used, I've just seen a photograph of them, but I will put a link to her website, if I can find it, in the box below the video so that you can check out her design. So I'm going to start off by giving you the card pieces that you need. I haven't done metric on this because obviously this has got to be absolutely precise, otherwise it's not going to work, and I'm not that confident with metric. So this one I am sticking to inches. And I am going to stick to the same colours as well. So to start off with card pieces, you need a piece of Whisper White which measures 7 3/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, another piece of Whisper White which measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, another piece that measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/4. Now before I go on, these 3 pieces, it's important that they are all the same height, okay? They must all be the same like that because they're all going to be stuck together, so you don't want one that's any taller than the other. And then the last 2 pieces, you need a piece of Real Red which is 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, and a piece of Whisper White which is 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches, and you will need some scraps of Real Red and Whisper White. So what I thought I would do first is I'm going to do most of the stamping, then the scoring, then another bit of stamping, and then the big shot. I think that is probably the most logical way to do this. So stamping, the bits we can do will be on here. The stamp sets that I'm going to be using and the dies. I'll do the stamp sets and dies at the same time. So first of all, for the deer, I'm going to be using that one and that one, and I'm also going to be using the Happy Christmas Wishes. The dies will be for the 2 deer on that one. Okay, so Dashing Deer and that's Detailed Deer. They are currently available as a bundle, which means you'll save 10%. Then on this stamp set, it's a double box set. I'm just going to use that one stamp there and the die. So the stamp set is called Rooted in Nature and the dies are Nature's Roots, just that one there. And again, that's offered as a bundle. You can save 10% on that one. And then this one, which is where I'm getting the large Christmas tree from, that's Winter Roots, and the dies are called In the Woods, so I'm going to be using that one. The advantage of what the other lady did for her card was it appeared that she used just one complete set on one set of dies, which is the easy option. The other stamp, not stamp sets, the other dies I'm going to be using, I'm going to use Night Owl because I want that one there, which is what I've used to die cut that. I'm going to be using Frosted Bouquet, I'm going to be using that one there, which is for this one, and the Layering Circles, which is what I'm going to be using for cutting the windows. So that's all of those. All of this will be listed in the box below the video for you. So first of all, this one, what I'm going to do is I need the large green tree, and the green I'm using all the way through is Call Me Clover. You may notice that I've actually cut the rubber on this stamp. I found that I was getting a lot of the edging all around, so I cut it off, and now it works brilliantly, as you can see. But be careful, if you do that to your stamps, you will make the guarantee with Stampin' Up! Null and void, because you have effectively deliberately damaged your stamps. But once I've used my stamps, I don't see that I'm ever going to have problems, and I've been a demonstrator for nearly 7 years now, so I'm confident. So this is the little set of trees which was from Rooted in Nature. I'm going to move these out of the way. I have a terrible habit of having used stamps in front of me and then dropping my work on top. One of those I will need to get back. Now the deer, you need to do 2 of each of these. I've already done the first set, and the reason I did that is because one set needs to have dimensionals put on them, and it's a bit fiddly doing, cutting up bits to put onto their legs. Right, so this is one reindeer. Beautiful. Right, I won't need that again. And one like this. Now I wonder if that's going to go on that side. Yep, I think so. In fact, it can come on here. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so you need 2 of those. And then for, sorry, that was soft suede. And then the next colour I'm using is Real Red. So first of all, for the big sentiment. Now this one, make sure you've got enough room to actually die cut it out. I'll show you again how much space you need. There we go. Okay, you need to allow space on either side if you're using the same as I am. And then the last one is this one. I'm going to turn it round here. There we go, lovely. So that is all the stamping that needs to be done, except for the trees in the back there. Okay, so as you're looking through the tunnel, right at the back, we need to do that. But we need to do the scoring first so that we know where we got to do our stamping. Make sure I haven't got any ink on me. Right, so we need these 3 pieces that I said need to be all the same height. I'm using my scoreboard. If you're happier using your trimmer, by all means. Right, let's start with the piece at the back. You will notice that with these 2 long pieces, one of them is just ½ an inch shorter. Okay, so we will start with the one that's ½ an inch shorter. And I can see that I've got a pencil mark on there. So let's just remove that. I'm not going to do it on my scoreboard. There we go. Okay, so I'll use my wax paper just to make sure my scorer comes down nice and smoothly. And you're going to score this at 4 1/8 inches. Then the next long piece, you're going to do 3 score lines on this. You want one at 1/2 inch, one at 4 1/8, and one at 4 5/8. And then on this one you need 2 score lines, and it is at 1/4 inch. Make sure that's in nice, mine wasn't. And turn it 180 degrees and do 1/4 inch on the opposite side. Okay, so you just got these two on here. Right, so that's all we need for the scoreboard. Prop that up over there somewhere so it's not going to go falling and frighten the life out of me. Right, so the one that we need to do some stamping on is this one. So it's the one where we've got the 3 lines. She says, is that right? Or was it that one that we did the stamping on? Oh, it's that one we do the stamping on. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you want the one that is to the left hand side of the double 1/2 inch score line. Okay, you want this one here, not the one that's got the 1/2 inch there and the 1/2 inch there. Okay, that's going to be our window. So we want to stamp on this one. And what I'm going to do is, because I want to do my stamping as close to the edges, oh, here we go. As you can see, I've already used this paper for one lot. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to fold that inwards, aren't I? So I want to stamp it on this side. Right, so where this score line is, the mountain, I'm going to put my post-it note to cover up the mountain. And do that side as well. Okay, it's just I want to stamp as much over as I can, and I don't want it on this piece here. So I'm going to use my green again. And I'm going to use the double trees that I used before, which is this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp, and then I'm going to stamp again and again. But be careful when you do the first one here, and I'll show you why. Okay, so, and by the way, I'm going to be coming just lower, very, very fractionally lower than halfway down. Right, so the first one I'm going to do, so I am half on, half off. Now if I go up and do a lighter one, I'm going to get that line there. Can you see that? Because that is where the stamp went in between, so the ink is still there. And if you try stamping down on it, that will come out very dark. The rest of it will be very light. Like that. Okay, so that is what would appear on here, which you don't want. So I'm going to carry on, working my way over with my dark trees. Now on this one, I can move up. I'm moving over slightly as well. And then I'm going to go up again and move over slightly. Okay, so it's getting lighter as it goes. Now I'm going to do another one, another dark one coming over here. not going to take a chance on there being lines. I can't see it, but I suspect it's right on the edge there, and I don't really want that. So now I'm going to stamp off, and then I can start filling in. There we go. There we go. I'm going to take it just a little bit higher. I don't think that'll be visible. So that's once, twice. That's good. And once more on here. Obviously it doesn't matter if you do too much, but it's not going to look good if you don't do enough. Okay, I've got a little white gap there. Wonder if I can fill that in. Very slightly, yes, that's fine. So now I'm happy with that. I'm not going to be doing any more. Right. And take these off. Okay. You will see that there's a white gap here on this side of the score line, but that's okay. It's only got to be a circle. You've only got to be able to see inside the circle. So I think that's all the stamping now. So I'm ready to do the big shot. So let's bring the big shot up. Okay, so we need to cut 2 windows, and the first window is going to be on this side, but I want it on the front. This is going to be the front of the card, okay, because this is going to come like that. You'll see through this window onto those trees. So you want this to have the front of the die cut. So the circles, I am going to be using numbers 6 and 8 of the layering circles, the straight cuts. As I say, all this information will be in the box below the video. Right, so I am going to place this about what I think is probably 3/4 of an inch down, and then I want to have the same gap there as I have there, and it looks as if it's gone down perfect, so I'm not going to mess about with it. Okay, so we do that one first. This is the second take on this video, and I can't remember whether I said to you that the idea for this, the way it's actually made, I got it from a video from Jennifer Maguire. Right, now this is the other piece we want to cut a window in. So what we are going to do is those 2 score lines there, we are going to line up with those 2 score lines there. Yep, yep, like that. Okay, but they've got to be the same height as each other. Okay, so you've got to do it like that, but just make sure that underneath they're in place. So when you're happy with that, place it down onto your cutting mat. Take the smaller one, and it really is lovely if you've got a magnetic platform under here, and then you just put the second one on the inside. Make sure you've got the same sort of gap all the way around, and when you're happy, just carefully lift this one off without moving that one. There we go. Again, take that out. That will be used for something else at some other time. So that's for that one. And now, oh, this is it. We need to cut all of these out. So if I cut this out a bit so that we have room to fit them on, like that. Right, I'll do this one at the beginning, I think. Right, so that was, we need frosted bouquet, these two here. The larger one I'm going to die cut some real red cardstock. Right, put that in the centre. And that looks straight from where I am. Right, we have the two reindeer. Well, first of all, we've got this one, the night owl. That's for one of our sentiments. Is that one? Yep. Let's cut that end off. Moving about a bit, this one. If you find your die do jump about, it's much better to move your cardstock to follow the die rather than get the die to go where it doesn't want to go. I think that's alright. Right, this is the one with the two reindeer in it, that one and that one. I think that's okay. The other two I'm quite happy about, but the reindeer not so. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Right, so that's one reindeer. So a little bit off to the side. That's a little bit wonky as well. That one's perfect. So we've got the big tree. And that must be from this one. And what else did we need? This one and the other trees. Did I put you back? I did, didn't you? Didn't I? Didn't finish with you. That's right, that's for you. And the little trees. And that's in this one. which is Nature's Roots. In fact, I'm not going to be able to do you at the same time, am I? But I've still got to run it through anyway, so let's just do these two. We need to do that one, which is that. That one's okay. And for the red, what did I do with my scraps? That's that here, I think. Now, I was able on the other one to do that. Of course, it's not going to work now, is it? And what did I do? Did I send that one back? Yes, I did. And that one went on there. Ah, that's good. Just make sure they're straight. Then I think that's probably it for all my die cutting. Should have the two trees, reindeer. Yep, I think that's it. Okay, so that's the red label there. Yes, that's right. And that red label. And the trees. Don't forget, you will have two more deer than I have here. Right, that should be everything. I can go back. Right. First of all, with these two little trees, I am going to separate them, and I am not being at all fussy with this, just cutting in and out on little curves and making sure I don't get any sharp pointy bits, because that is an absolute giveaway that you've done some fussy cutting. Just keep them all nicely curved. Okay, so those two, those, I was going to trim that, but I don't think I will do. I think that will be okay. And then this one should fit on there beautifully. So that's going to be Tombow. Tweezers. Now this one, it is wonky. I don't know whether it's too wonky or not. If it is, what I will do is after the video I will do another one of these and I will just stick it straight on top of it. Now what I'm going to do with this, because obviously it's the same size as that, I cut off the edges to make sure that they don't stick up over the side. I don't like to give away the fact that I've cheated and just done one and effectively just using the ends. Doesn't need to be much taken off. There we go. and I do this by putting glue on the end of Tombow. Glue on the end of Tombow. Glue on the end of the sentiment even. Okay. And then some Tombow on the end of the sentiment. There we go. Okay, so that's what that's going to look like. Do you know, it doesn't look so crooked now. I'm sure it is though. Right, so to get this prepared, I am going to pop some dimensionals on. I always pop one over the join. Not that I think it's going to go walkabouts or anything. So that's ready. No, that one gets glued straight on. This one, I'll show you what I do with this. I go over little branches like this with a white gel pen to make it look like there's snow on the tree. It really is totally random. I'll give you a close-up of the tree that I've already prepared for the video, because that's already got its white lines on, and I've also gone over it with my Wink of Stella pen as well, because this is a little bit time consuming to make sure I cover everything. So imagine that I've gone over all of that, and this is the one where I've done the lines over it. And so that you can see the difference, on this one I haven't done lines, so you can see whether you prefer doing the lines on it or not. They've both got Wink of Stella, and it doesn't matter whether you do the lines first or last. That is with the Wink of Stella, but the choice is yours. So this is the one I'm actually using now. So I'm just going to get some dimensionals onto this, and then once I'm ready to put my card together, all of these bits will be prepared. Okay, so that's ready. Those are going to be glued straight on. They're going to be glued straight on. And I need to do this as well. These need to be layered for the front of my card. And I've already put my tear and tape on the back here. Get my bucket. I keep forgetting to turn this upside down when I'm doing a video. I just don't want to put my head right in the front there. And then the last piece. Right, now to put our card together. First of all, we'll fold on all our creases. So if you start off with the piece that you've got the narrow piece here, and this is the wider piece. So if you fold that in half, you find you're 1/2 inch shorter there. So just make sure it all lines up nice and straight. And before you move on, with this side here, you need 3 strips of tape in there. You could leave this piece till nearer the time and just use Tombow. But this is the way I've been doing it and it's worked well, so this is the way that I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so that one, that's all folded. And then there's this one, which is the little 1/4 inch. So we need to fold those over. And then score on those lines. Now we need tape that is just 1/4 inch wide, but we don't have it. In fact, I think this may actually be 1/4 inch of it, but because it's got a fold on it, oh yeah, the tad over, it makes it possibly a bit smaller. Does that come up a bit smaller? Yeah, because of the fold. Right, so what I do on this one is I use one of my silicone mats, and I'm going to put my tape, although it's wider, I'm going to put it on here up to the score line, really, really close to the score line. If I just do one of these, and I'll show you how much I have hanging over the edge. And then when I come to glue this bit down, I'll show you how I deal with that. You may be able to see from where you are how much that is coming over. Yes, you can see it's just an absolute tad. I don't know if that's a 1/16 or something. But that's not going to be a problem. But all the time you've got this on here, make sure that you are on your silicone mat, otherwise it'll be sticking to everything else. Right, so pop this one down. I'd better move that over, hadn't I? Of course, when I was working on earlier on, I was using my grid paper. I have one sheet that I've had laminated, so of course it doesn't. Well, it does stick, but it doesn't do any damage as you pull it off. Of course, I've not got that now. The reason I don't use it on my video is because I think the light would rebound off of it. There we go. Right, so I'm just placing that down facing up so that's not going to be getting stuck to it, anything. Now this one I'm going to fold. So first of all on the 1/2 inch, and this has got to be folded towards your stamping. Okay, so that's going towards it. That's going towards, and make sure you line up really nice and square. Now I was going to leave my laptop in front of me so that if I needed to I could quickly check which order all this gets glued, but I've forgotten. So we're on a wing and a prayer here. Right, now we've got the smaller hole, it's got to be fitting over there. So we need to take this piece off the right hand side first. So what I do, bearing in mind that this is coming, the tape is coming about 1/16 of an inch off the edge, I just use my paper piercer and curl that back. So this way you've got your line of adhesive absolutely perfect for what you need. I wouldn't want to try and use Tombow on this. It's such a narrow piece, and if you had any stickiness come through onto another bit, it would stop your card from working. Right, so now what we're going to do is this sticky edge here, we're going to push it up against that very first score line. And this here has got to fit along here. This one has got to fit along here. Okay, so it's got to fit perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down in position right up to that score line. Right, now I'm going to bring this one up and fold it over, making sure this hand is holding onto this one, not allowing it to move. Okay, so then press that down. Don't panic, it's not in the wrong place. Oh, it's got stuck to that bit. Now you will see that it's becoming like a book, and therefore you find the rings are in the right places. Right, now you need to adhere this to here. So if you didn't put the strips on and you want to use Tombow, now's the time to put your Tombow on. I have to say our two-way tape is really very, very tough. Right, now what we're going to do is we are going to adhere this, which is the back of our stamping, onto this one, and we're going to hold this up so that we get it right in up to the score line, and making sure again that this lines up with here and this lines up with here. These are the edges I said have really got to be the same height as each other. When you're happy, push that over. Okay, so that's adhered in there nicely. And I didn't put my Wink of Stella on here, did I? Now, I do like to have this bit of glitter in there. What I do when I'm using Wink of Stella, on certain colours, definitely this green, I do the darker green first, and I watch where I'm going with my pen because it will spread the colour, which is handy in the positions where you've got like blank spaces, because it would just colour it in a nice light green. Okay, so that gets coloured really nicely. I certainly wouldn't just go over the whole page here and spread the colour willy-nilly. Just keep the dark trees first. So much for me trying to be really well organised and doing everything in the proper order. Still go and get it wrong. But we don't mind. We don't worry about things like that, do we? There's a bit of a hole there, so I'm colouring that in with my darker green. In fact, I've got a large area there, haven't I? There we go, see how it spreads out? It was handy there. go. Now to the lighter, the medium green, shall I say. See if I can colour those bits. If you're really bothered about having the white gaps in there, you could always go over this with a dauber and colour in that way. I don't think the back gets seen really an awful lot, because it's got the two trees that get adhered on the side, and then it has the two deer as well. So it's not like you get a clear view right the way through here. And that tree there, for example, it won't even be visible. But it looks like it's got a nice little bit of sparkle there. Right, let's see if we can get a bit of green to go up there. I can't see because it's not tilting the right way. Right, there we go. I think I've coloured all the green. Right, should really do this off on something. Oh, here we go, here's a bit of scrap of paper. Oh, that's quite clean. Right, so next thing is we are going to adhere this one down. So where we've got this other one on this short piece where the tape is too wide for the 1/4 inch it's sitting on, take the backing off and again bring your tape over, your adhesive over. Okay. As you can see, it does adhere down really nicely. Okay, so what you need to do is lay that down nice and flat. Make sure it's coming straight here and here. And then fold this one on the line, the score line that's closest to the big window. Okay, so fold that over and then out, and then fold that. Okay, so when that gets folded, it should be like your double window. Clever, isn't it? Now for the last one, we need to put 2 strips down this 1/2 inch here. And what I do for this one is, because they're going to overlap, I put the first layer towards the score line, as close as possible, and then I put another line on, but obviously it's going to overlap. Just don't allow yourself to go off the edge there. Okay, and then take your paper piercer and pull off the piece that's on the underneath, the one that's near your fold line, which is the one that we put down there first. And then pull that up first. You see it will knock the other piece out of the way. And we can pull that one up. There we go. And then for that, just fold that one over. Okay. Now your card is prepared. Okay. You will find that your card won't open right the way back. Okay. There will be a bit of a pull on it. I mean, even if you flatten that down, it's still not going to go. But then that's because the measurements, as you can see, got the sections in there which are all correct, and it closes to go flat in an envelope. You can just flatten that bit if you feel that it's not going down very well, but it does, trust me. Okay, so to finish off our card, I'm going to do the front first. That did go a bit wonky, didn't it? She looks around her. I wonder if I can cut a tad off with my trimmer. I don't know if that is just too tiny to cut. Possibly. But we're going to give it a go, aren't we? Of course, I never press it hard enough, do I? Oh, that's better. Although you can see the white line, but that's just the tape. Right, let's see, can I do it here as well? Let's just do... Oh, that should be fine. In fact, that could go up a tad more. Let's try that again. Bear with me. That's it. This is the problem of trying to cut something that is so fine. So what I'm going to do is just try and trim that off with my scissors. Talk about being on a wing and a prayer. Fortunately, I've got the cut line there from the trimmer. If you've ever seen me on a trimmer before, you'll know that quite often I don't press it hard enough. That's almost straight. There we go, it's a lot better. Oh, first time that I've tried that. Alright, now let's pop it onto our card. That's the one with the white on it, isn't it? I have been using my trimmer an awful lot more than I ever have done. I find it so much easier to get precise measurements on it. Most of the time I use a guillotine. I was doing it again, aren't I? Right, stay still. There we go. Right, so this was my tree that I did beforehand, wasn't it? So let's bring the bucket back. I'm going to pop this on, get my positioning right by using this. There we go. And these are my two reindeer that I prepared earlier, so you don't have to watch while I get all these little fiddly bits of dimensionals. But I haven't put anything on his head. In fact, I put it on his neck, and I don't want it on his neck either, do I? Can I get that off? More or less. That's it, come on, come on. Yes. Right, okay. Now the reason I didn't want it on his neck either, because I wanted to get him quite high. Yes, that's about right. And then this little one, I still want his back up on the tree. Let's get that bit off my fingers. That's better. That's about level. I'm not convinced that that is actually crooked. I don't know. What's it look like where you are? Does it look crooked? The actual sentiment, I mean. It looked very crooked when I first did it, but now, I don't know. Right, now this one, first of all I'm going to do this, which I pop in with Tombow. And this I like to sit right close to the bottom. And to write this card, to send it to somebody, I would write my greeting on the back there. I wouldn't try and write in there. If you're left-handed it would be alright, but right-handed you're trying to write with that side in your, oops, in your way. Right, let's just hold that down. Make sure it's centre. Just leaving tiniest tad underneath there. There we go. Yes, that looks good. I'll give that a flatten down. Now for the trees, I don't think I did. Did I do Wing of Stella on those? Not sure that I did. Well, we might as well while we're here, mightn't we? There's only little trees. There we go. See, these little trees don't take a couple of minutes to do. There we go. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to hold it with scissors to, tweezers to get in here, and I'm just going to put glue on the outside edge about halfway up. In fact, as far as where that first dip goes there, and I've only come out a little way. So I'm going to pop that into my window. And then use my tweezers to press it down. Okay, so that's that tree in place. I'm going to do the same with this one. A little bit of glue just on the outside there, about halfway up. Again, don't come out this way. And then this one. And I'm not worried about the tree trunks being seen either, because, oops, maybe I didn't put enough glue on that one. No, I haven't put enough glue. Let's try that one again. That's more like it. Okay, so put that in. If you've got tweezers, it does help to squeeze the cardstock to the circle. That's it. 2 trees are straight and they're adhered. So now these, I'll do this one first. Come on. Yeah, on the back. I'm just putting some glue on the bottom parts of his feet and his snout. Turn him over and I'm going to stand him on the outside of the inner window, and I'm just making sure his back legs are going to cover up where the tree trunk is, because I don't want the tree trunk to be visible. That's it. You can always close and give a press down. Okay, so that's you. Your head disappeared. Oh no, you're right. And then this last one, and he stands on the outside here. But it's really clever because as you open up the card, it looks like the trees and the reindeer are actually moving. I did put him on the outside, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, give that a press. So there we go. I think that is just about everything, isn't it, I thought of. So what do you think about today's project? It's quite a lot of work, but my goodness, I think it's well worth it. So I've now got 3 of these. I wonder who the lucky people are going to be that I send these to. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I really, really hope you give it a try. Did I show you this one? This was the first one that I did, first successful one that I did. The first three were unsuccessful, and they're now in the rubbish bin. But there we go. Look, this was shaded spruce. This is the one that I didn't put any snow on. This one does have snow, so I will be going back to put the snow on. There we go, so you can have a look, see what you think, whether you prefer it with or without. So there we go. Many thanks for joining me today. As I say, I hope you give this project a go. It really is absolutely delightful. And thank you to Jennifer Maguire for your video showing how this is made, and also thank you to the other lady who did it with the Santa's workshop set. As I say, I will try and get the links in the videos below, in the box below rather. If you have any questions, please leave them in the box below, and I'm always happy to help you. And I'm always interested in feedback even. And if you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, there'll be a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop in the box below. If you've enjoyed my video and like to be notified each time I upload a new one, which is normally on Sundays and Wednesdays, please click the subscribe button and then the bell to say that you'd like to be notified. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.